In the beginning, we started with this, the Anbernic RG35XX. So this was a great device. Miu came along and Miu took the world by storm, and you had the Miu Mini and the Miu Mini Plus. And then suddenly something happened. We had clones start up. Although this was clones itself, we had this guy, the R36s. And the R36s seemed to come along and take the best of the both of these and improve it in many ways and give an experience that was much cheaper than these guys were going for, but a great experience. So everyone got excited when the R33s came out. We were the first to have an unboxing and expose that to the world. And now there's more R iterations coming out as well. There's been the R35 Plus, which is terrible. But then last year, this guy right here, the RGB from Powkiddy, RGB 30, with its fantastic 1-to-1 screen, came out and just blew everybody away. So what did the R people do? Well, guess what, deadheads? They came up with their own clone. Enter the R40s. Is this thing good? Is it worth it? Is it in the same line as the R36s, or is it more like the R35 Plus? All right, let's go, deadheads. The criminal justice system is composed of two parts: the police, who investigate the crimes, and the district attorney. No, wait, deadheads, that's not me. I'm not Law and Order. Hey, deadheads, welcome back to the channel. Or welcome for the first time, new deadheads. So let's hop into this unboxing of the yet another R clone. This one is the model R40s. So this one has Wi-Fi download, HD output, HD screen, a quad core, memory card, simulator, 3D joystick, and original product, strong induction. That's kind of interesting. Here's our famous game console, not console, and this has a nice texture to it. I don't know if it'll show up on the camera here, but it's got a nice texture to it. This is a nice box. I think they've done pretty good with the box. The game console. Here's your colors here. So we do have 5 colorways available currently. Hey, I hope the guys at Game Cove bring a blue and white one out of this. Come on, like the R36s, that would be nice. Over here, TV output, a 4-inch 720 by 720 1:1 aspect ratio screen, and Wi-Fi download. And here is our specs, which we can never truly trust, but I think these are pretty accurate. Linux, the 4-inch IPS OCA fully fitted screen, 7 by 720 pixel. It is running the RK3566, Mali G52, 1 gig of LPDDR4. And it does have built-in Wi-Fi, 2-speaker, 8-watt cavity speakers, 4,000 milliamp hour battery. That's a little bit less than the battery in the RGB 30, and Type-C charging, 3mm audio jack. So this thing is aping the RGB 30 from Powkiddy. It is pretty much the same unit on the inside, minus the change in the battery. So other than that, we have the same thing going on with the screen. I don't know if it's the exact same screen, but it is the same 720 by 720 pixel, and it is 4-inch screen. So let's get this thing open. And let's get our unit out here, and let's see what's in here. And underneath we have our wipes. So there's a screen protector. Okay, nice, good screen protector. Lately these things haven't been coming, so that's good. Here's our wipes. We have a USB A to C. Okay, so same charger we're used to with the 30. And then we have a little manual here. So let's see, the R40s instruction set. Not much to the manual. Okay, HDMI output, little IOs. Yeah, this is this might be the most basic manual I've seen in a while, but it's just a manual, so, you know, no big deal here, guys. Let's get this unit out and take a look at it to see what's going on here. And this colorway, for whatever reason, I don't know, I think it was the unicorn that started this, but this white and red, this does not look like it did online, okay? Online it looked more like the unicorns, but this one is a little bit more brighter red. I kind of like it personally, but I can see how someone would be disappointed if they were thinking it was the darker, more crimson red. But yeah, I feel like I'm looking right at the POW Kitty, except for the sticks, of course, are in the more modern configuration versus the POW Kitty, which is in the more traditional configuration here. So let's take a look at our I/O. So we do have our 2 speaker holes down here. We do have a double card slot. We do have our headphone jack. We have our OTG port, and then we have our USB port over here. Nice little contrast between the white and red there. I kind of like that. Over here, and this is kind of hard to see on the camera, there's a nice texture here on the side. I kind of have really come to like that texture for grip. Now I use a 3D printed grip anyways, but yeah, that's kind of a nice grippy texture there that I like. Same thing on this side. And then on the top we do have our shoulder buttons, again that contrasting color. We have our power and we have our reset, and then we have our plus and minus reversed. Volume buttons, our HDMI mini, and then our buttons. Now if you saw some of the other early reviews of this, especially over at Retrospect, I ended up having the same issue. The R2 button, it just doesn't move. I mean, it moves, but it's just really like not how it's supposed to be. Over here, this one's more like it's supposed to be. Now these buttons, if you can hear them, they're fine. This one isn't moving. We were told that this possibly got shipped out a bunch of engineering units they reused, that maybe I got one of the engineering units, or I sure hope that if these things continue to come out, that this is going to feel like a more typical R2 button. But yeah, right now R1 button, actually shoulder button, but it's just it does function in game, but man, it does not feel good to press down on, and it's just not right. Let's take a look at our buttons here, and these buttons are okay. They're not bad. I'd say they're just as good as the 30. They're about the same size, and they have pretty good travel distance here. They're not too clicky or mushy. I'd say they're in a good spot. They're a little smaller. I wish they had made them just a tiny bit bigger. Same thing with POW Kitty. And then we have our start and our select right here, and then this D-pad. I really like the D-pad. I've been playing with this thing quite a bit, and I do like the D-pad. I think this is a very actually good D-pad. Sticks are pretty good and clicky. They feel great. And then you have your little indicator light there for charging or if it's on. So from a hardware perspective, nothing on the back here. Kind of a shame they didn't put anything back here. I don't know, maybe you guys like it like that, and a little sticker here, but just nothing, not much going on here in the back. But let's fire this thing up and let's take a look at it. Now it did ship with ArcOS, so it does have that, but let's turn this thing on. And this is not the default theme. I did change it, but you can see here that it's running our typical ArcOS with Emulation Station. And let's get in a little zoom here. And it does ship with, you know, quite a few ROMs. The typical R ROMs are usually pretty well scraped. The descriptions are good. Not like that horrible M7 we looked at this week. So we actually do have some proper scraping. Let's fire up some Nintendo DS. Now, one of the things that I think was important about the R36s was not so much that it aped the design of Miyu and Ambernick, but that it actually brought it in at a lower price. So the question in my mind is, you know, should you, spend your money on this if you can get this at a better price? So we're going to play this a little bit. This isn't a full review. This is my first impressions. I'm probably going to wait to do a full review later because, again, this is the Powkitty RGB30. It's just in a different shell and a different configuration here with the sticks. But it just reminds me so much of the RGB30. It plays like it, which isn't surprising. It's got ArcOS, so ArcOS is very familiar. So again, the real question in my mind, Deadheads, is this worth spending nearly the same amount of money on to get? I mean, why not just go ahead and get the RGB30? And for right now, I can tell you the prices I'm seeing are coming in at, $10 to $15 below what you could get the Powkitty one for. And I'm gonna say, let's hope, as long as this issue right here is resolved, I think that, save 10 or 15 bucks and get what is essentially the same thing. Now, some of you guys are real particular about where these sticks are. I've never been one like that. I don't care if they're on the top or bottom. I'm kind of, okay with either way. But you can see I can make it jump with this R stick, but man, it's just so stiff and doesn't feel very comfortable. I'm probably going to change that out. This is a unit I might like to do a lot of modding on as well. So that's something I plan to do with it as well. So, keeping in mind with that, guys, if you can get this at a really good price, if you can get this at a decent price over the RGB30, then I'm going to say it's probably worth it. Now, the real thing is this going to be overall as good as the Powkitty RGB30? Well, the 30 has its own problems. We have the charging issues with it. We have some of the battery issues. The quality control in there is not as good. Apparently they're, copying the quality control problems here like that. So it's a real question of if they're both going to have certain kind of issues, is saving 20 bucks worth it? And I gotta say probably. Again, this isn't my full review. I will do a full review of this later on. After I've played this quite a bit more to kind of expose a lot more of its flaws. But for right now, it's getting pretty decent battery life. I haven't seen any charging issues. It's been able to charge pretty much on the chargers I've stuck it on. We'll do more testing, Deadheads, to kind of see if it's going to get worse or not. But I gotta say, it feels just like it does, like I'm holding the RGB30. The plastic is along the same lines as that. You get a little bit different colorway here that you're not being offered with it. Now, you guys know I have a metal version of the RGB30. And let me just pull it up just to show you guys just, exactly how striking these two units are side by side. Now, again, aside from the metal shell that I have on this, they're just so similar. And then again, the biggest obvious difference is the sticks. So if you're somebody that, values the sticks being down here on the bottom, the left stick on the bottom, you're obviously going to put this ahead of that, even if this is a lot cheaper. But if you are okay with where the stick is, I'm going to say, the D-pads, they feel very similar. I think I actually might like this one just a tad bit better. The sticks are very similar. I may like these sticks just a little bit better. The buttons are very similar. And the screen just looks the same. I mean, the screen is just beautiful either way that we have a screen on. So I don't really have a lot of difference in the screen. I don't know if they source the very same screens. It's hard to know. I don't know if we'll ever know if they're the exact same screens. You have the same ability to do custom firmware once it's developed specifically. I have not tried all the different ones, but this is a Rockchip 3566, and I'm sure a lot of the custom firmware teams will develop for this as long as this guy sells. So again, you're just kind of really looking at a mirror image of it. So for me, Deadheads, right now, this is early, not a full review, first look, impression, unboxing. I'm gonna say if you find the right price, yeah, I think the 40S is worth getting. Now be aware you might have some quality control issues, but you're gonna have that same risk with Pal Kitty. So I don't think it's much more of a risk with that. And something like this shoulder button is probably pretty easily fixed. One of the other things that really makes this unit very attractive with that one-to-one screen, if you just now are joining the channel or you haven't really been following along a lot of these, is just how like Game Boy looks on this, or Game Boy Color. It just looks so great in that one-to-one aspect ratio. Also Pico 8 is just beautiful for it, but we'll bring up some Game Boy Color here. Going to Super Mario Deluxe. And we'll have Super Mario take us out, but again, this is going to have custom firmware. It's going to play very well. It's going to look fantastic. It's got that big, beautiful HD screen. And yeah, Deadheads, this is still great. I mean, every time, I still feel like I'm picking up the RGB30 for the first time. So in my mind, this is a great unit that has compromises like all units. It's not perfect. There are plenty of other things I probably could nitpick on this, but overall, I think that this is closer to the quality level of the R36s than any of the other R clones have been. The R33s was kind of cool, but it didn't really do it for me. This one's closer to what we saw with the R36s so far. Now, over time, we'll really tell, but I'll leave a link down in the description if you guys want to pick this up on sale. And yeah, let me know what you guys think of it. Well, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this first look and initial impressions of the R40s, the game console, and we'll see you next time, Deadheads. Dead Fred out.